Expand yourself. Take yourself out your comfort zone. If you stay in your comfort zone, that's where you will fail. Success is not a comfortable procedure. It is a very uncomfortable thing to attempt. So you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable if you ever want to be successful.
I fought a good fight. I fought for my kids, and I fought for what was right. And I fought for my good health. And I fought for a good career that would bless my family. I fought a good fight. The encroachment. Opposites are in conflict, and we're in the middle. And if you want something valuable, you got to fight for it.
If you get beat, unless you're dead, you are not defeated. And you have not failed. What you've done is you've learned. You've gained experience. And you're still alive. So get up and go get after it.
Not only have I fought a good fight, I fought a good fight, and I kept the faith. See, that's the deal. Keep faith with your family. Fight like crazy and keep faith. Fight the enemy and keep faith.
You have comeback power. When something happens to you, don't buy into what has happened to you. Buy into, I'm getting up out of here. I'm going to change this situation. This does not work for me, and I don't have the luxury of being depressed. I need to clear my head.
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Your story doesn't end in the night. The night is temporary. Don't get discouraged. It's just a night season. It's not permanent. It's not how your story ends. You may not see anything happening. Keep moving forward in faith. Keep believing. It's just a matter of time before the morning breaks forth.
But let me tell you what ought to cause great joy to come to your life is if you'd stop comparing yourself to other people and you would just remember where you came from and remember where you started. You're doing more. You're seeing more. You're achieving more. But if you start comparing yourself with someone else, you can get discouraged because they're doing more maybe than you're doing.
You have a great life in front of you. But your great life is in front of you. It's not behind you. What you did back there ain't got nothing to do with what God got for you. What you did back there was learn the lessons to get you to where you are at this particular moment right here.
If you have enough reasons, you can do the most incredible things. Here's what you might be lacking: a long enough list of reasons. Reasons that drive you, reasons that get you up a little extra early, reasons that keep you up a little extra late. Reasons, that's what makes the difference.
I fought one hell of a fight. Are there any fighters in here? I fought such a good fight that when I look at what other people call a fight, what they call a fight is what I call normal. I fought my way up. I fought to get to work. I fought to stand. I fought to carry on. I fought to live. I fought to get out the bed. I fought with my fears, my anxieties, my insecurities. I fought with haters, liars, backbiters, and betrayers. And many times I laid in the bed. I couldn't go to sleep because I was fighting with myself. I fought.
Take ownership. Take extreme ownership. Don't make excuses. Don't blame any other person or any other thing. Don't hide your delicate pride from the truth. Take ownership of everything in your world, the good and the bad. Everyone took ownership of their mistakes. Everyone took ownership of the problems. Take ownership of your job, of your future, and take ownership of your life. And lead. Lead yourself and your team and the people in your life. Lead them all to victory.
Make your move before you're ready. We're instructed in life to walk by faith and not by sight. See, you want to really begin to stretch yourself. You want to become a risk taker. Most people won't do that. See, most people engage in low-life living, low-risk living. This, God said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you can't be happy. Then what else is there?
Anybody who's not ever willing to risk will never do very much in this world. And in all probability, you'll end up being quite bored with your life. A couple things that I said last night that I don't want you to forget is walking by faith is taking step one before you know what step two is. After a few times, you get a little more used to it and it's not quite as scary, but taking a step of faith is stepping out to do something when you don't know how it will be provided for. But you believe with all your heart that it's what God has told you to do.
Life is short and unpredictable. And so you want to begin to take some chances. You want to begin to challenge yourself and make it okay to fail and learn from your failures. Don't allow fear of failure to draw you in. You can't get out of life alive. You got to die to leave here.
You got to make changes. You got to say no. You got to disappoint people. You got to walk away from some stuff. You have to. And so stepping away from things has felt much more dangerous to me than taking on 5 new things. Does anybody get it? Anybody out there, you get it?
Trying to learn early the consequences of errors in judgment, poor behavior, and then try to learn from others that have gone down a disastrous road. And sure enough, they suffered the consequences, and you say, wow, then I'm going to change direction because I don't want those consequences. That's called being doubly smart, learning from errors in judgment. A few simple disciplines practiced every day. Now you're on the road to success. A few errors in judgment repeated, and you can turn anything around. Once you see that you're suffering either early consequences or severe consequences, all you have to do now is shut down that route, pick another destination and start going that way with some easy disciplines that day by day gather momentum, and now one success leads to another, leads to another. Here's what we call that: disciplines. Easy disciplines. All disciplines affect each other. Every discipline affects the rest. Every lack of discipline affects the rest. What's interesting about success is starting a new discipline, a couple of new disciplines, and sure enough, once you've gained just a little bit of success in a couple of new disciplines, it'll inspire you to clean up the rest. It'll inspire you to fine-tune all of your other disciplines. Each lack of discipline affects the rest. Solving problems, going from errors in judgment to easy disciplines that can change it all. And if you start that journey, it doesn't take long for new signs of success to appear. I got such great results that first year that I made these incredible changes, learning extra skills, putting together extra disciplines, working harder on myself and on my job. The early signs of the fact that I was going to arrive at a more positive destination, I was hooked. It didn't take but a few months, less than a year, and I was hooked for life.
So when you begin to say, what is it that I want to leave? What contribution that I want to begin to make? What difference do I want to make in life? What is it that I want to do with the rest of the life that I have left? What chances I need to take? What risks do I need to begin to embrace? What fears do I need to step on? What areas of my life am I dead right now? What dreams? You can either live your dreams or live your fears. You have got to get to a point where you say, I'm sick and tired of living like this. There's got to be more. That's when people go out and strike out on their dreams. That's when people get out of relationships where they're dying together rather than growing together. See, you will when you put yourself in that kind of situation. I'm reminded of 2 frogs that were hopping down the road, and they fell into a bottle of milk. And one was hopping up and down for a while, and he drowned. He just gave up. But this other frog just kept on kicking. He wouldn't give up. He just kept on kicking. And pretty soon he churned that milk into butter and he walked on out.
I ask you to start that same journey. Let your new skills, new disciplines affect all of the rest. You really won't be happy if you don't produce. 6/7 of our life was to be devoted to labor and work, to produce a work of art, to produce a good family, to produce an enterprise. That's the essence of life in its best form. First is to be a producer. What is the reason for the seed and the soil and the sunshine and the rain and the seasons of life and its miracle? What's the reason for all of that? Here it is in a nutshell for your notes. To see what you can do with it. We've got books to read and we've got classes to attend and we've got, things to do and things to learn. And if you put it all together, you can have not only your health, but your fortune. Why not see what you can do with what you've been handed? As basic as seed and soil and sunshine and rain. Here's what all of us have, the miracle, and it's almost godlike in its potential. The ability to recreate. Only God can create the sunshine, the rain, the seasons, the miracle of life. But here's what humans can do. Recreate those components into a harvest by planting the seed, reaping the rewards in the harvest. We call that recreation. To recreate. To take your hours and your energy and your life and a bit of skill and create. Actually recreate a career, a future, possibilities, fortune. Recreate.
And that changed my life. It was Oliver Wendell Holmes who said that once a person's mind is expanded with an idea, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. So some of you are going to experience a breakthrough. Some of you are going to go back and look at your dreams and brush them off. Whatever goal that you have in mind, I want that to be a goal that will challenge you, something that will make you stretch. It was Osborne who said, unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. What is it that you looked at some point in time and you decided that you couldn't do it? That you talk yourself out of it? Whatever it is, bring it back out there. How you're going to do it? That will come to you in due time. See, you don't get in life what you want, ladies and gentlemen. You get in life what you are, not what you want. See, the good news is that we can always become more by working to develop ourselves. You've got to begin to take a look at your life and look at where are you right now? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What gives your life a sense of fulfillment, a sense of joy? What does a full, rich life means to you? What is it that you could love doing 7 days a week? Think about that.
That takes an incredible psychology. But in that psychology, we bump onto limits, and that's what you got to shift. And if your psychology is solid, then you got to say, where are the skills I'm missing? Because that's equally important.
And you won't be happy if you aren't really extending yourself. Because here's really the goal of the human adventure, the full development of all your potential. Why not see how far you can go, how much you can earn, how much you can share, how much you can give? Why not see what all you could be? That's why at my age I'm still working, traveling the world, doing what I've done for all these years, is to see what else I can become. How much stronger could I become? How much more refined could I be in my working with business partners and all the rest? Why not go for that ultimate challenge on and on? As far as you can, take it as far as you can. Friendship is one of the greatest support systems in the world. Nourish it, protect it, look after it. Develop it to the best of your ability. Next is your heritage. Keep your heritage alive. That's what's made America great, is a combination of a variety of heritages from all over the world. People have been coming from all the countries of the world to America, bringing with them their gifts. Gift of business ethics, gift of government, gift of music.
Negative thinking is a major problem. If you're trying to be successful or happy, you have no room for negativity. Big thinking gets rid of negativity. Dreams and visions gets rid of negativity. Now, what you cannot do is bury yourself by using your success compared to other people. See, success is not how far you got, because somebody always further than you. Success ain't how far you got. Success is how far you got from where you started. God said a man is as he thinketh. We are how we think. You have got to change the way you think. It is the whole determining factor of where you go in life. We are all where we are today because we thought ourselves to this position. If you don't like the position, think yourself out of it.
I do not deserve the good measure that flows with success. I just don't deserve it. I just can't see myself as being in this position. I don't deserve it. This often comes from things that people said to you or about you. They programmed you to see yourself in a limited parameter, and so when you see opportunities beyond how you've been programmed, you reject it because you don't feel like you're deserving of it. I do not want to stand apart or be different. I want to fit in. Because they have a belief system that holds on to being ordinary, they will not take the lead. I am afraid that I will become a target, and you will. If you take the lead, you will become a target. But just because they're shooting at you doesn't mean they shot you.
There are a lot of voices in life trying to define us, tell us who we are. Sometimes they're uplifting, other times they're negative. You're not attractive. There's nothing special about you. Our own thoughts will try to label us. When you listen to all these voices, it's easy to think, who's telling the truth? Who am I? Am I strong and confident, or am I weak and insecure? Here's the key. The only voice that matters is your voice. What you choose is what you will become. Who do you say you are? God says you have seeds of greatness. You are destined to leave your mark. Other voices will tell you you're just ordinary. You have the final choice. The problem with some people is they've chosen the wrong voice so long, they don't know who they really are. They've allowed circumstances to define them. Mistakes, disappointments, now they've lost their passion. The only one that knows who you really are is your Creator. He calls you a masterpiece. He said you will be mighty in the land, that you are more than a conqueror, confident, approved, valuable. When you say what God says about you, then you activate what He put on the inside. But you can't say I'm weak and tap into the power. You can't say I'm not that talented and tap into your greatness. Who do you say you are? Not who do other people say you are? Who do your coworkers say you are? No disrespect, but you are not who people say you are. You are who God says you are. If you let them put their limitations on you, convince you that you can't accomplish your dream, then because you're letting them define you, what they're saying is going to come to pass. Don't repeat the negative people have spoken over you. Imagine someone asks you, who do you say you are so we can tell others? Well, this pandemic has me worried. My back's been hurting. These kids are getting on my nerves. I'm really discouraged. That is not who you are. Go back to the scripture and say what God says about you. I'm strong, talented, favored, blessed, forgiven, fearfully, and wonderfully made. I am not what I feel. I may feel weak, but God says I'm strong, so my report is I am strong. You may not feel up to par. You're dealing with an illness, fighting that depression. It's easy to wear the labels, sick, depressed. That's just who I am. That's not who you are. That's what you're dealing with. Don't let that difficulty become your identity. What do you say about yourself? I'm sick. I'm depressed. No, I'm healthy. I'm free. I'm happy. I'm victorious. If you'll start saying what God says about you instead of what you feel, you'll see things begin to turn around. I talked to a man that was so down on himself. He said, I feel so unworthy. I don't deserve to be blessed. Being against yourself is not going to help you move forward. The enemy is called the accuser. He'll remind you of every mistake you've made. He'd love for you to wear these labels, unworthy, no future. I told him what I'm telling you. As long as you see yourself unworthy, it's going to keep you where you are. Why don't you say what God says about you? I'm forgiven, my past is over, and my future is bright. Who do you say you are? What you say overrides all the others. Now quit saying negative things about yourself. I'm so overweight. I'll never get out of this neighborhood. I'll never break this addiction. You're going to become what you believe. What you say about yourself is going to become a reality. Well, I'm just average. You're going to be average. When the truth is, God didn't make anyone average. But as long as you believe you're ordinary, you won't shine like you're supposed to shine. When Moses was born, the scripture says he was no ordinary child. As he grew up, he could sense his destiny was to deliver the Israelites out of slavery. But he made a mistake. He spent 40 years in hiding. I can imagine those voices told him how he blew it. He could have worn the labels, failure, too late. But deep down, he could hear that still small voice telling him, this is not how your story ends. There is greatness in you. Just because you've made mistakes doesn't mean that stopped your destiny. What stops us is when we start wearing the negative labels. We quit pursuing our dreams. When you were born, God said the same thing about you as He did Moses. This is no ordinary child. He's destined you to leave your mark. You may have made mistakes. It's taken longer than you thought, but that doesn't change what's in you. Now, the enemy will work overtime to try to steal your sense of value. He knows if he can distort your identity and convince you that you're just average, then he can keep you from your greatness. I wonder how far God will take you if you will just live like you are no ordinary child. That there's a favor on your life that will take you where you can't go on your own. A blessing that will cause you to stand out. Who do you say you are? You have royal blood flowing through your veins. What's trying to stop you doesn't have a chance. God being for you is more than the world being against you. That sickness should be the end. The medical report says you're done, but not for you. You're no ordinary child. God handpicked you. Before you could choose Him, He chose you. Now don't go around thinking you're average. You don't have much to offer. You are no ordinary child. You are a history maker. You are destined to leave your mark. Well, Joel, this sounds good, but I think you have the wrong person. There's nothing unusual about me. I don't have a great personality. I don't come from an influential family. As long as you're discounting yourself, you're not going to see your greatness. I'm asking you to get in agreement with God. It doesn't matter how you were raised. It's not dependent on how much education you have, what obstacles you're up against. When you believe, doors will open you never dreamed would open. The prophet Joel said, wake up the mighty men. Wake up the mighty women. I want to wake up your greatness. Wake up that business God put in you. Wake up that book. May seem like it's over your head, but you have to understand you're not average. You can accomplish more than you think. You are more anointed than you think. You are more talented than you think. The dreams and gifts God put in you are much bigger than you think. Don't you dare say I'm average, I'm ordinary. Get in agreement with God. I am highly favored. I am surrounded with God's goodness.